everybody, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are. Nigel here from Nigel's Modelling Bench with another product review for you. And it's not this kit, it's actually the Eduard photo etch set 32380, the exterior set for that kit, for the Kitty Hawk OV-10 A/C. And I bought this recently on eBay and paid about £13 for it here in the UK. And when you look at what you're getting here and what it's doing for you, it's a bargain. This is Eduard as I used to know them. This is like old school Eduard, and I love it. So what we get in this set is 2 sheets of photo etched brass, which contain lots and lots of bits and pieces that are going to be invaluable on your model. Now, if you're not interested in accuracy and rivet count and all that, that doesn't matter. This set is actually going to help you build your model better. I've printed the instructions out in A4 as I always do. Eduard give you instructions in here. I think they're about A5, but I always go to their website, print them off. I often do that before I even buy the set, so I can see what I'm actually getting, to see if if it's worth having and if it's what I need. So basically, we've got 2 sheets of brass here. It says it's a 2015 set, so that's cool. And it's the part numbers go up to 55. But there's a few different bits and pieces, so I'm guessing there's probably about 100 parts of brass there. So let's have a look through the instructions and see what they're actually giving you and what you're going to gain. Now, if we look here, we've got 55 and 22. 55 and 22 are going to line the nose gear bay, and then we've got number 4, which is up here. So we're going to fold that up, fold them up. We've got those 2 strips there going in, and they're going to fill the nose gear bay. Okay. All they are, if you look at them close up, is just raised rivet panels etched into brass. Let's look at the nose gear bay. When we look at the nose gear bay in the kit, it's quite simplistic, and it is plastered in ejector pin marks. So those bits of brass are going to not only make your nose gear pop, especially because this is like an off-white colour. When you give it a wash, it's going to pop with all those rivets in there, and also it's going to save you having to work on those hard to get to ejector pin marks. Now, that one's recessed, that one's recessed, that one's recessed. In fact, they're all recessed. The only one you need to work on is this one down here, which bit of Mr. Surface soon there and that'll be gone. But that is also recessed. So basically all we're going to need to do, they've got a bit of an edge around them, all we're going to have to do is go over with a knife, just clean off the edges, make sure there's no raised bits on there, like so. And it's as simple as that, and all we're going to do is just give them a clean out, give them a blowout, and then we'll just put our photo etched brass in there, and that's your front nose gear bay dealt with. That's going to pop. Then we've got this part here, G4, which actually goes vertically here, and that's our nose gear door actuators. So we're cutting these plastic lumps off the end, and we're going to add these little photo etched brackets, which are going to look a lot more in scale. Again, it's going to make your nose gear area pop out. This little bulkhead here sits, if you can imagine, this cutout shape here goes around this area here. So I'm not sure how you're going to see that, but it's there anyway, and then you get the photo etch to replace the moulded on plastic. This part here is going around this dome on the rear of the fuselage. This is the main wing section I've assembled already, and this is the rear dome. You can see on here it's got some moulded in detail, but the photo etched brass is a lot more, it's more of a flange than a bulge, and I think it looks a lot more accurate than that. So I need to check my references, but I should probably use that anyway. And then we've got these photo etched steps here. You've got the steps that come out the side of the fuselage. If you look at any real aircraft, it's just like a flat block that comes out for the crew to get in. And then going over to page 2, we've got these doors here that you can fold up to display your machine guns. And then we've got some detail parts and a panel there for the bottoms for the pylons where the weapons go. These parts here, these are 1 and 2, these parts here, and basically they are again just flat panels with raised rivet detail on them. But when you actually look at the doors on the kit, once again you've got the raised rivet detail, but they've got 3 great big ejector pin marks in each one. So again, Eduard have come to the rescue there. You can just sand that flat, stick that on, job done. Which is, I love to see it when Eduard does things like this and they're actually helping you out rather than just adding detail. And then we've got this this assembly here, 45 and 46. That's replacing a great big chunky plastic door, which is there, which unfortunately I haven't cut off. It's not in front of me. And then we've got some nice fine mesh grills going in here for the engines, which is a nice touch. Then we've got our detail there. Once you put the main gear doors in, here's the inside of the main gear door bay. Then you've got these 2 square cutouts, and then you've got these 2 square pegs on the actual doors themselves. So to cover them up, Eduard have supplied these parts here, and they are basically number 3, and they're going to go over and cover that whole area there. Again, once it's painted and washed, it's going to make it pop rather than having those 2 great rectangular chunks of plastic stuck there. So that's all good. So then we go on to, going to detail up our main undercarriage bays. Well, this is the floor. I've marked mine up with pen. You can see we've got some ejector pin marks there, which I've done with Mr. Surfacer. We've got this this molded on detail here, which is because of injection molding, you can't have drafts, you can't have undercuts and stuff if it's coming out of the mold that way. So what Eduard have done, they've supplied us with these panels here, which represent the ribbing that's on there. So you just sand all that off and stick them on instead. Then we've got a box here which goes on the side of the door. A fly landed on my hand. And then on the rear bulkheads, there's this simple bit of moulding here. We're going to sand that off and replace that with these pieces here. So you've got this piece that goes across the top of the door. If I can show you, it goes on there. You're going to get your door and it's going to go like that, and then you've got this folded up flange with holes on it to go across the bottom, which is going to look lovely. And then here on the oil tanks, we've got these little oil tanks down here. There's a chunk of plastic that goes across that sits in there like that. Okay, and we're going to replace that with this photo etch part here, which is going to be a lot more to scale when folded over, so it's going to look a lot better. Coming down here, we've got these chafe what are they called, chaff dispensers. They're not applicable for Vietnam version aircraft, and I think these panels here, I think these are marker lights, so I'll have to look into that a bit deeper. But these panels here, what you get in the kit is this, and they give you them either with the chaff dispenser or just flat, and I've used the flat ones because the Vietnam aircraft didn't have the chaff dispensers from what I can tell. They were only added to the D, so be a little bit careful there. And then we've got all these little greeblies going on the back of the elevator there, which are the little straps for the trim tabs and that, which is all going to add beautifully to the detail. And then on the final sheet, we've got all this detail here, which is going to be added to our weapons. So we've got, what have we got here? Part number 6, that's these here. So they are going to go over our outer pylons. So they're going to make them look a lot better from the underside rather than just a flat plastic. Then we've got 17, which are these long ones here. That's for our major pylons. We're going to take off these lumps of plastic and add this. Then we've got for our AIM 9Bs and AIM 9Ls, we've got 27, which is here. This is the back piece, the cover for the motor. And then we've got 3 pieces of 36, which are here, which are the straps that go around to hold it all together. We've then got some little filler ports and doors and stuff for our drop tanks here. We've got a mounting bracket there, which is here across there. And then we've got the igniters for the back of the rocket pods, which look lovely. You can see those in close up there. So they look very nice. And then there's this little, I don't know, it's like a handle or something, which is going on to the, what's it, part number 9, there we go. We've got 4 of those. Don't quite know why we've got 4, but they're going to go onto there, like little, I don't know, little handles or something. I don't know what they are. So I'll have to do a bit of research and look into that. So there we are. That's the Eduard exterior photo etch set for the Kitty Hawk OV-10 AC Bronco. Part number 32380. As I say, I paid about £13 for it from on eBay. Retail is, I think, more like 20. And yeah, I think it's a must-have for this kit, purely because you've got so much in there that's covering up ejector pin marks and adding detail where it's lacking. You know, sometimes people say photo etch sets are a waste of time because they're adding detail inside of the midsection of a B29 or something, which you're never ever going to see. Well, yes, you're never going to see it, but modelling is all about building models, and I personally thoroughly enjoy adding photo etch and making up the little fabrications and everything. Whether I can see it at the end or not, neither here nor there. I know it's in there. I've enjoyed it. But this set, this really does make a difference. Every single piece of this, every single part of this set can be used, and every single part will be visible on the finished model, and it's all just going to enhance it and replace ejector pin marks and add detail where there's nothing. Okay, so it's 9.5 out of 10 for me. It would be a 10 out of 10 if it had some detail for the upper wing surfaces and stuff, like with these doors here. But no, 9.5 out of 10. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this, and as I say, I'm doing a build on this this kit. I've done a review of it. I've got part 2 just about to go up, and what I've done, I've completely revamped the building process. You can see I've got the wing made up, totally away from the instructions. I put a piece of brass inside there, epoxied in, and I want to make sure I've got a nice straight wing with no seams, and they're all cleaned up and re-riveted and re-scribed and everything. So yeah, the idea here is to build a very, very straight, very, very true model. The next bit now will be to add the booms, like so, and get them all square and square to each other and not tipped over and not running like this and parallel, and just get it all really, really nice. So yeah, go take a look at those videos if you're interested in this kit, and if you are interested in getting this kit, this is a must. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.